Alright, hey everybody on YouTube, it's Wingnut, and we're going to do the oil change on Dacey here, the 2011 Triumph Rocket 3 Roadster. So I went ahead and I've warmed her up so the oil will flow very well. I've got a block of wood right here just to level her out a little bit more as far as that goes. I've already loosened up my cap here so where it can breathe. I don't want to set it on the ground because I'm afraid I might kick it over because I've got big clod hoppers. With that, you can use a filter wrench or by hand for your filter. I've already got my oil, my 10 weight 50 T4 motorcycle oil from Castrol is what I use. Fram oil filter PH6017 Alpha. I also went by my local shop and got a new set of washers and O-ring for the plugs. I've got my torque wrench already preset to 18.6 Newton meters. Filter wrench, 8mm hex or Allen key if you want. And I've also got my handy dandy Harbor Freight gear. Now unfortunately it's really dark right here. Make life a little easier where you guys can see. I've got a light going. So you're going to be undoing the front plug, the plug for the oil tank, and the rear plug. All these have the same size Allen head. So please make sure that they do fit. This is 8mm. And the big thing with it is, the reason why I say make it fit is sometimes because it is the bottom of the bike, stuff does to get inside of it, you don't get trash. I also got an oil drain pan. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen her up. What I had done is I've loosened up all these bolts, or the drain plugs, I'm sorry, I can't really call them bolts, to where I can go through and unscrew them and drain the oil. Hopefully I can do this where you guys can see it, and if not, you can sue me for it. Actual disclaimer, you shouldn't sue me because I have no money. Alright, so looks like that's turning pretty good. I'm going to slide the pan underneath. Lots and lots of editing. So I'm just going to slide it in there. Do it by hand. And try as you might, you may drop this plug and this washer into the bucket. Oh, and there she goes. All right, that's the first plug. All right, so what I was talking about earlier, or what I'm talking about, so the reason why I do crush rings and O-rings is on here, there's this little bitty O-ring. All right, now some people say you don't have to change them every time. Some people tell you that, you know, if they're in good shape, don't swap them out. Personally, I swap them every time because I'm paranoid, and there's nothing wrong with that. So we're going to go ahead and pull the other two drains because, as you can see, we got Earl. Alright, so you just take your time, don't rush, let it drain out. Remember, because the engine got hot, it's going to drain a lot better. Now, I'm not saying just jump on the and start doing this after you rode all fucking day. But you do want to make sure that it's cooled down enough that you can put your hands on the engine block and you're not going to get burnt. Alright, so it's drained out pretty good. I've got one more here in the back, and I've loosened. What we're going to do next, And then we're going to start looking at the washers, the O-rings, so on and so forth. Putting those on. Everything is loose and drained. A lot of Earl right there. I've got my new washers on and my new O-ring on. This piece right here, here are the old ones. Except for this old one, which fell down in here because it's stuck and I'd have to tap it with a wrench. Sometimes that happens. But these are different size washers between this one and this one. So just make sure you take your time and match everything up the way it is. We're going to pull our filter off using our filter wrench. And it's probably going to make a mess. Probably is not the word. The answer is it's making a mess. And I've got, rags and stuff down to try to help mitigate it as best as possible. And then I'm gonna go back through when I'm done and I'm gonna clean all this up. Drained. What I've done here is I got my new filter, and I lubricated the rim using new oil. A little gunk right there. Make sure everything's nice and clean. Just gonna thread it on. And you just wanna go about hand tight. Nice and snug. That's all you really need. Alright. And we're gonna throw the plugs in. Start adding the oil. Now you can put rags and stuff down in the kitchen, drippings, leavings, whatever you want to call them. It always helps to do that. Makes it a little bit easier so you don't have a huge mess in your garage or in your driveway or wherever you want to do it, or at the shop you're working at. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to snug this up just till it touches. That's it. Then I'm going to go to the next one. Rinse and repeat kind of thing. So bored I'm singing to myself. Normally I'd have music going while I'm doing this, but we're not going to do that today. Copyright infringements and all that jazz. I'm just going to go through, wipe everything down, put my rag back, and then I'm going to come over here to my ratchet, drop it off. I've got my torque wrench right here, which is already set for my 18.6 Newton meters. And all we're going to do is take her till she clicks. Of course, it would help if I turn it the right direction. There we go. You guys heard that? Nice and soft. There we go. All right. So now I've got them set at 18.6 Newton meters. I'm going to go ahead and check them again, just to be on the safe side, because I'm a very paranoid man when it comes to torque spec. All right, and we are solid on those. So these are tight, the oil filter's tight. Now we're going to add our oil in, and that is pretty much it, guys. If actually is part of it. So this is out. That's where oil goes. Make sure you follow the manufacturer specification on how many quarts of oil. The amount that my motorcycle uses will be down in the description below, as well as the part numbers for everything that I've used today and the oil I used. None of this stuff is sponsored. All this stuff, of course, comes out of my own pocket, and that's what we do, which I can't do if I don't pull in the switch. Do that a couple times, and what that's going to do is it's going to help start getting the oil all around the engine, help build up that oil film. The other thing I didn't mention is the ratio for mileage to oil change. With what I was taught, was old dyno oil, and oil has changed, and this is specific oil. It's really good stuff. Is every 3,000 miles or hard riding, or every 6 months if you don't ride that much. I ride more than that, and the factory interval is 10,000 miles. I do not do that. I go no more than 6,000 miles and I change the oil, sometimes closer to 5,000. And the reason being is I do a lot of stop and go driving, as you guys have seen from videos, in traffic. It's real hard on the engine. So that's what I do. That's how I do it. Now that I've got it bumped around a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and start the bike. Oh, talk to me, sweetie. And I'm gonna let it run just for a minute. It's gonna get the oil moving through the system, moving from the oil tank down into the dry sump, through the dry sump, filter through the oil filter. Just gonna let that do for a minute, and then after that I'm gonna check my oil level and top off as necessary. If I remember correctly, it should be anywhere between 5.5 and 6 quarts. And as always, I'm going to put that in across the screen if I've said it wrong, because I don't want to give you bad info. And I also I'm going to do like a full description of everything I got and how I did it. Plus, on top of that, owner's manuals are a wonderful thing. Oh, look at them pretty lights. She hit dirty. I got to clean my bike. All right. And now we should be able to check our oil level. Now I don't have my usual head mount for this kind of work, so we're playing it by ear. And I am just touching the bottom line, so I need to add another half quart and I'll be good to go. Hey everybody, it's the Wingnut. Like, dislike, subscribe. It's on you. Thanks for watching.